They should be marched down Pennsylvania Avenue, and the public should be invited.
We worked up to 320 for a real easy single. Now we'll drop down and do a big drop set for the rest of them.
Revolutions in our own cities. You know, while everybody is trying to stop this one guy, Mellon, who is sending a check for $130 million to pay for our military, all the shortfall for our military, $130 million personally coming out of his paycheck. What are they doing? They're spending almost $300 million on a No Kings rally. Chapter's licensed advisors take time to review every single option available to you. No one else can do this. This is a tech company. These guys, their parents were screwed by this system, and they were so livid about it. Their parents were like, I can't afford to go to the doctor. My doctor's no longer in the system. You know, my benefits have changed. I'm now having to pay extra for all my prescriptions. And they were like, this has got to stop. So they came up with something called Chapter, but it's important. Really? Because you have said, when we're not talking about things like this, when we're talking about just not increasing the spending, not decreasing, you're telling us that we always want hungry children to starve. You are literally taking the only safety net away that they have, that you created and enslaved.
Please contact us at twj.org.
Happy Monday. The cloud cover and dreary weather from the weekend is going to continue into today. Cloudy skies, dreary, upper 50s, Friday winds, low 50s and cloudy tonight. More rain tomorrow, with occasional rain showers thrown in for Tuesday. For Ozark,
Washington. Jamaica's bracing for what may be the most powerful hurricane to ever strike the island. Melissa, Category 5 hurricane. The waves have been kicking up. Torrential rains falling and gusty winds buffeting the island nation. There are concerns about the possibility of catastrophic flooding and landslides. No reports of injury.
I'm going to talk to you about this coming up in about 30 minutes. You know, we have to understand that we are dealing with a global intifada and a global effort to destroy the West from multiple sources. Let me lay it out for you. Gee, I wish I had a chalkboard. Anarchist. That's weird because I got a book that I wrote about 4 years ago, Addicted to Outrage. Flailing against anyone or anything that stands in opposition to our own truths. Like all addictions, there is not only a dependency on rage, but an intolerance for opposing views. Indeed, to voice free speech principles in a time of rage is to invite the rage of the mob. The appearance of guillotines has become commonplace now in left-wing protests. From protests against Trump to those against Israel, the symbol of the terror is now being rolled out as a warning with those with opposing views. We've got the guillotine, you better run. It is the ultimate, Jonathan Turley writes, expression of an age of rage. There is no question that is protected speech. However, it is part of what I've called the rage rhetoric and meant to inflame others. It suggests the only solution to these issues is what the French called the razor of the Republic. In the French Revolution, the irony is those who turned the guillotine into the symbol of revolution were they themselves beheaded on such platforms. Robespierre and others would ultimately be dispatched in the very same atmosphere of rage and revelry. Most revolutions are driven by establishment figures who seek to capitalize on the wave of popular wage. Let me start again. Most revolutions are driven by establishment figures who seek to capitalize on the wave of popular rage to gain power. We are seeing that today with many Democratic leaders using rage rhetoric to appeal to the far extremes of their political bases. Some have. Protesters are burning car doors. Lawyers and reporters on the streets are throwing Molotov cocktails at police. In the end, today's pseudo-revolutionaries are likely to find themselves tomorrow's reactionaries. Leading mobs is rarely a safe place to be, as a more radical element will take hold of a movement. This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. The American Revolution is the only revolution in history, I believe, to end with the same people who started it. So in other words, as you see the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars You see the Chuck Schumers, who are all posing as revolutionaries now, embracing the violent revolutionaries on the street. They are now becoming afraid of those very revolutionaries. Why? Because those who start revolutions, those usually in power, are not the ones to end it. Because they are seen as people who will sell out the revolution. And so they are the first to go. After the revolution starts, after you have bloodshed, then they start rounding up those people. And you see it by their reactions. The reason why Chuck Schumer doesn't want this is because he's afraid of being primary. I believe, or worse, God forbid. He is afraid of the leftists coming after him. You know, I said years ago, all of you people in the media, you think you're friends with Occupy Wall Street. You think you're friends with Antifa. You think they're going to excuse you. That press jacket is not going to save you from them. In fact, in the end, if it gets bad enough, they will drag you out of your anchor chair into the streets and set you on fire, behead you, or put a bullet in your head. Because you've betrayed the revolution. And you'll be screaming the whole time, I'm on your side. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not in their opinion. Because they are for anarchy, chaos, and something you most likely, and those funding you, are not for. They are for controlled chaos. They actually believe that they think, the Soroses of the world, think that they can set the world on fire and then control it. Most likely, you cannot. Be very careful of controlled burns. The winds blow a little faster or a different direction than you thought, and everything is on fire, and you're in the middle of the fire, and it burns and consumes you. When are they going to get that? When is anybody going to get that? This is why I said earlier, we've got to start doing the right thing. Even though it is really tempting to see this thing fall apart, they're, you know, as they are forcing the people that they put in poverty and made them slaves to the government, as they take all of those underpinnings and they kick all of that foundation apart and let it fail, hoping that there will be chaos in the streets. We can't want that. I want an end to all of these programs. I want people to be self-sufficient. I want people to be more charitable in their own lives. I want us to take care of one another the way God intended us as individuals, not at the point of a barrel of a gun from the IRS. I don't ever feel charitable on April 15th. I want all of that to end. But I have to tell you, the way to do it is not through a revolution. We have to be different. We have to be the peacemakers. We have to be the ones that everybody looks at and goes, they're not angry. Why aren't they angry? And what are they doing? They're feeding people. They're helping people. What is it that they know? This is why Christ asks us to be peculiar people, to be different. The only way you're a light in the world is if you stand out. If you happen to, if you're different than everybody else. You're a light. And everybody's like, there's nothing but darkness here. What if the person knows?
All right, there's the bitch part of it. By warming up and going to a fairly heavy single, it's probably 90% of my 1 rep max. It'll trick your nervous system into being able to do more sets quicker on the lower weights, which will actually help you build more muscle. So, thank you, and we'll go on to close grip bench.
972 Patriot.
The BBC World Ranch says Melissa is a Category 5 hurricane. Landfall expected tomorrow on Jamaica. No reports of injuries, but there is damage to homes and businesses in the wake of tornadoes raked parts of southern Mississippi over the weekend. Now in Japan, President Trump says he is looking forward to his meeting later today with the country's new prime minister.
I hear phenomenal things. She was a great ally and friend of Shinzo Abe, who was my friend, the former prime minister, and he was one of the best.
that tell the
So
true
we did
story of
4
who we
sets, total
are.
close
And
grip,
it's amazing to me after
155,
20 years how big this thing
205.
has gotten and how few people,
for
even
10,
in my own
8,
audience,
6.
really know what it is.
Now we're
We
doing
haven't
the incline
really
bench.
unveiled it, except
I've already
the
done one
influences
set
here
of
and there.
155
But
for
with the
10.
help
I'm going
of
to do
David
3
Barton
more.
and Wall builders, that library.
I mean, the infrastructure didn't exist. We had to partner at the time with Major League Baseball to be able to do it because no one else but Major League Baseball had even thought of it. Today, if you look around at the landscape, things have dramatically changed. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, the biggest names in news, all online, all independent. And it's because of you seeing,
praying all the time and
Okay.
tearing myself apart. And
We did the
just a
incline
couple of weeks
benches,
ago,
just 155
I
for
felt
3 sets of
some of
10
these
and 1 of
lessons,
8.
I felt strongly
Now I haven't
for
done
the first
reverse
time in
grip
my life,
tricep
why I
extensions
understand.
for a long
And
time, or
in that,
tricep push
I
downs
realized
for
I
a
don't
long
have a lot
time,
of
but
time to
I've
waste,
seen them
and,
done on someone else's channel. I think their name is Nurse Marianne, and I just thought,
have a lot
well,
of work to do.
haven't done those in a while, let's give them a try.
I would love to help you find.
and founding memberships are going to be open soon. And I would love for you to be a partner with us. And I am asking you one last time to help me build something to change the world for good. We've done it once before. We've done it actually several times together. But the truth still matters. And the torch of Lady Liberty, the torch of truth, must never ever go out. So this is the torch. And it begins in January 5th. Sign up for my free email newsletter. You'll be given the first opportunity to become a founding member of this very ambitious project to make history once again by sharing history in new and game-changing ways. The torch at glennbeck.com begins January 5th. Let's change the world yet again.
This is Glenn Beck.
NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR 425 starts at 6.799% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-906-2440 for details about credit costs and terms.
So every family has that moment where you sit at the kitchen table with a stack of bills and you just stare at the numbers and you add them up and you subtract what's in the checking account and you wonder, how is this working month after month? It's not that you're irresponsible. Life has gotten so much more expensive. Interest rates went up. Groceries cost more. The world shifted fast, and that's where American finance is.
How I would search to get a fact, right? Like, I'm searching for trusted sites that, like, I know have this stuff right. Like, that's hard to find. People ask me all the time, like, oh gosh, how do you find out when something's true or not? How do you fact check that? That's a big process. Like, it's something we've developed over multiple decades of broadcasting and researching and all that. With AI, like, a lot of times I'll see it pop up like Reddit. And what I found fascinating about that this weekend, so I was clicking on some of these links and I was going through and looking, trying to understand where this information was coming from. Like,
Hello everybody, I hope everyone's doing good today. Today we did some chest and triceps and shoulders. Started out with a winning warm-up. I did dumbbell bench press with the 20s for 4 sets of 25, tricep extensions, 40 pounds for 25, 4 sets of 25, and inverted rows, 40 pounds for 4 sets of 25. Then we went on to bench press, worked up to a fairly heavy set of 320, which felt really easy. Actually, probably should have went to more like 330 or so with that. And then went to 275, 265, 245, 225, and 205 for a drop set. Went to close grips, 155 for 10, 205 for 10, 8-6. Incline bench, reverse grip triceps, push downs, which I'd seen somebody doing on their YouTube channel. I think her name was Nurse Marianne. I hadn't done them in a while, so I decided to do them. And then some deficit push-ups at the end. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.